Chapter 2, Gina and Jin Stage 2. Genuine love keeps growing even in worlds apart. Even as Jin and Gina continued to contemplate that things could not work between them because of Gina's background, the desire to go closer to each other and keep company kept growing deeper. Jin showed up that afternoon after school as Gina promised. Gina's gate was locked. He stood outside the gate about 50 meters away. Gina had instructed him to stand right there when he comes so she could see him easily from their upstairs balcony. Gina at the exact time came out to check. She saw Jin standing by the gate outside. She quickly went and instructed the gateman to open the gate for her visitor. The gateman obeyed and Gina let Jin in, took him by his left hand, and into their kitchen they went. She had prepared some goodies for him, both cooked and raw food. She put everything in a big plastic bag. They didn't have time to talk long, but Gina would not want to leave Jin's hand, a sign to tell him, "Do not be afraid, have courage, I'm with you, I'm for you." Of course, Jin had some fears in him, so he could only look at Gina, follow her instructions, smile and alter very few words of thanks. "I appreciate it. Thank you so much. You are a good friend, I'm grateful, Gina," etc. He too would not want to take his hand off Gina's. They had to hurry and leave, so Gina's father would not meet Jin in their compound. Nina told him, "Soon my father would be back, let me see you at the gate before he returns." Still with Jin's hand clasped in hers, Jin took the package with the other hand and Gina let him through the back door since her mom was reading in the living room. As they walked towards the garage, there came a knock on the gate. It was Gina's father asking the gateman to open the small door. He was a bit early from sports that day. Gina hurriedly beckoned the gateman to hold on. She asked Jin to follow her fast. Hurriedly, she led him behind the restroom and hid him in between the trash cans. She whispered to him, "Do not be afraid, I'm coming to take you out." As they were out of sight, the gateman proceeded and opened the gate. Gina pretended she was taking a walk around, moved towards the gate, and welcomed her father. "How are you, Gina?" Her father asked. "Good dad, welcome, I can see you were out for sports." "Yep. How has it been after school?" her father inquired. "Good dad, I was just walking around the compound to refresh myself before homework though." "Great, my girl. Have you eaten something?" "Yes, daddy, I've had some cereal and milk." "Okay, let me get in there and tidy up." "Okay dad, I will join you when you are done. Bye now." Dad entered the house and closed the door. Nina immediately indicated to the gateman to open the smaller door. She hurried back to Jin and told him, "It is safe now, come with me." Quickly and safely she walked him out of the gate. Squeezing Jin's hand gently, she bid him good night. In response, Jin pressed her hand on him and whispered, "Thanks and bye." He hurriedly went home. His sister, Grace, who was very hungry, saw him coming with something in hand. She dived out, ran to him hoping he was coming with something they could eat. For 3 days they had not fed well. Taking the parcel from his hands, she said curiously, "Welcome brother. What's it you bring? Is it something we would eat? I am very hungry." "Yes. Where is our father? Call him to the dining room and let's share that." Jin replied. "Papa! Papa!" Grace shouted. "Come to the dining room. Jin just brought us food, hurry dad." Their dad, even though hungry, could not just start eating without inquiring where the food came from. Jin told him that a friend gave him not only the cooked food but also some other food items that they can use for at least a week. Dad appreciated and commented that his friend must be a very good-hearted person. They ate the fried rice that was so tasty together and still had some more raw rice, tinned tomato, onion, beans, corn flour, spices, and some dried vegetables that could last for about a week. His dad, who was so grateful, commented again that his son had a very generous friend. He advised Jin that such a friend needs to be cherished and to be honest with, for it takes only good people to trust poor people like him and his family. Jin then elaborated more on what happened between Gina and himself at school that day, and how she helped him with her snacks. Grace said Nina was so good, whenever she sees her, she greets with a lot of concern. The following day at school, Jin could not wait to meet Gina during the break, to have fun, and to appreciate her for what happened the day before. He arrived at school almost late that morning when the first lesson was about to commence. He couldn't speak to Gina before class. He followed his lessons keenly. He had missed several of them on days he was not in school because of fees. He would not want to waste any minute of the lesson, but from time to time, he would eye Gina. Gina too, from time to time would take a pip at him just to make sure he was strong and following the lessons, not weak like in some days. During recess, Jin decided to go straight behind the class where he usually met with Gina. Gina knew exactly where to find Jin, he also took the same direction. She increased her steps to meet him as he went ahead. She tickled him on his ribs when she was closer. Jin responded so quickly at the touch and turned. They both laughed as he held her at her hands and pulled her towards him. They continued laughing to where they usually stood, with right and left hands clasped together. Gina sat by the wall and Jin stood next to her. He asked her, "What happened after that, or how did your evening go?" Gina looked at him, smiled, and asked if he was okay at that hiding place. Jin came closer, held her both hands, looked her in the eyes, and said, "Yes, I did, because I trusted you." They both laughed and she said, "It was fun, wasn't it?" "Sure. My fear was that your dad might discover after and be mad at you," Jin said. "Chill. My parents had no idea of what happened. Thank God we succeeded. The gateman saved us. He is hard-working and understanding." Gina replied. Jin continued, "That was so smart of you, I appreciate it. You are so kind, Gina. I don't know how we would have been without you. My father and sister were so happy when they saw the things you gave. They sent greetings too though. I can't thank you enough. I'm thinking of doing something more to show my appreciation, but I don't know what. When I think of what you are to me, I just feel like crazy with thankfulness in my heart, you know. You have provided more than a week's feeding for my family, what can I do for you?" "Nothing." Gina pooped in, "What are friends for? Don't order. I'll always do more just to see you happy." Shaking Jin's hands, she added, "I like to share, relax. Are you okay at this moment?" Gina inquired. Jin squeezed her hands a bit and said lovingly, "If I'm not okay near my best friend, where can that happen?" Gina shook his hands gently too and said, "You are funny." Jin squeezed back and said, "Because you mean a lot to me." They laughed. They felt so comfortable and happy holding each other's hands while they talked. Gina was equally happy to know his father and sisters appreciated the gift. She told Jin it was nothing and that she is ready to do more if possible. Jin then asked Gina a favor. "Please don't say I'm asking too much, when would you be free to keep me up to date with class work? You know that this on and off thing has put me really backward in our class work." Gina tapped his hand and said that was the best suggestion he ever made. Jin smiled, surprised to see that Gina wants to help him that much. Gina kind of looked forward and said they could meet at the park on Saturday so as to have enough time for themselves. She would tell her parents her class group had an outing there. Jin was crazy with her answer, sat beside her, held her both hands firmer, and said deeply, "You are always ready to help me, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot, I can't wait to see you then." "Me too," Gina said. They stared at each other briefly, then inwardly, Gina reminded herself that she shouldn't let feelings go too deep. She proposed that they should go back to class. Jin did not want to, they still had 4 minutes to end of recess. Pulling him up, Gina urged, "Okay, let's see what is over there before going into the classroom." Jin, though not willing, reluctantly followed her smiling.